came to the Army when I was 16 through the invitation of a friend. Our sidewalks rolled up in the evening in Dundee and we had nothing to do, and she invited us to the Youth Fellowship. And then eventually we started going to the Salvation meeting prior to that, and I came to know the Lord when I was 16 years old. I was called to be an officer when I was about 18, but I had always wanted to be a nurse. And so I did my nurse's training. And during that time, I still considered officership. But it came to me very clearly after I had finished my training. I was working on a male medical unit in Liverpool, and it was a Sunday, and I was working the early shift. And I really felt the Lord very strongly saying to me, anybody else can do this, but I need you to be an officer. And I wanted to ignore that so badly because I loved my life in Liverpool. I loved my roommate and I were best friends. I loved the unit that I worked on and the people that I worked with. But it was a very clear call from God. We were privileged to go into the training college staff. Aline was 1.5, Jonathan was 3. I went for my usual checkup to the doctor every year. My mother had breast cancer, and so it was very important for me to keep a check on that. And that particular year, I found out I had breast cancer too. And even before the doctor told me the results, I knew. I just knew it was cancer. And so I had surgery and did really well. And I did not need any further treatment for that cancer, and was totally in remission. After the surgery, did not have chemo, did not have radiation, and everything was beautiful. And about 5.5 years ago, I had the privilege to go to the International College for Officers. The day after I returned, my arm started to hurt, but then my carry-on luggage weighed more than my regular luggage, and so I felt that I had just pulled a muscle. But that got worse, and eventually, through the night, my arm broke, and I found out that I had multiple myeloma. And the journey of that began 5.5 years ago now. I have had 3 different kinds of chemo plus oral chemo. My body just gives up on it after a while. It just decides it's not working anymore. So the doctors keep scrambling for the next chemo cocktail to try to make it work out. But there were some days when I was so weak within myself physically that I really couldn't do anything for myself. And someone said to me one day, I am praying for you. And my initial response, my usual response was thank you, because I need that prayer, and I really did, and I was sincere in what I said. But they said to me, no, you don't understand. I am praying in place of you. And so when I couldn't pray for myself because of being so physically weak, I knew that they were praying in place of me. And that helped, I think, strengthen my faith immensely. Because even in these days, sometimes when I felt guilty that I couldn't keep my thoughts together enough to pray to God, that people were praying for me. And that's huge. And it brings such a boost to your faith, because then you know that God has placed these people in your life to pray for you. November of 2008, a very special person whom I do not know, but one day I hope to know, gave a part of herself for me and donated her stem cells so I could have a transplant. So 6 months ago, I was given a transplant from this donor, and technically my doctors tell me I'm in remission at this point. God is such an amazing source of strength, and I know I can count on that. There's never a time when I think, I need to go to God. Oh, He might not be strong enough for me today. That's just not in our thinking. If the cancer should come back again, then we'll deal with it when it comes back again. That's how it is. I'm in God's hands, whatever the future holds. because I have placed myself in His love and care. I have dedicated my life to Him, and there's no better place to be. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid, because God is in control of my life, and I trust Him no matter what.